Hi, Mike German from Visual Animation. Today we're going to be talking about cloth again. This is a part two of talking about cloth simulations. The first part was the two flags, when I was showing you how you fix one to the pole and the other one's waving. Well, this is a continuation, and this is about attaching a cape to a character. Now in this case, as you can see on the screen, let me just play this video and you'll see what we're going to achieve with this tutorial. We're actually going to be putting a cape onto Darth Vader, and I'm going to show you the two techniques again, where we can do a fixed one on a still object, and then when the object, or in this case Darth Vader's moving, we need to apply the other technique. So I'll just show you the video and I'll show you what we're going to try and achieve. Okay, so that was just a little video about 30 seconds long that I put together just to demonstrate how we can use the cloth as in this case a cape, how we can attach it to these characters and what it looks like when they're moving. It's quite a good effect. So how do we do that? Right, so on the screen here, what I'm probably going to do is just start again with attaching these items to show you exactly how I do it. Now, if you're interested and you want to do this at home, I would suggest there's a link below this video where you can download this particular Darth Vader character. It's on a website called Sketchfab. Now, it's free to join. You just need to sign up as a free account, and then you can download a number of models totally free of charge, and they are highly detailed. So if you type in Darth Vader or Star Wars or whatever genre you're going to be modeling, you'll find so many pre-made models at Sketchfab. So to make it easy, I'm going to include the link below the video, so it will take you straight to this page where this model was. The good thing about this one is the pieces, like the character's body, the gloves, the helmet, the cape, all these pieces, they're all separated. Now a lot of models you find they're all in one, so they're very hard to separate the pieces out, but this particular one that I'm going to link to has got these pieces all separated. So what we're basically going to do in this video is just to show, like we did on the previous one, the difference between how cloth works and how we attach it to different objects. So if we just have a look at this example, we'll just run this through, and you can see now, if you remember my video before, there was two techniques for attaching cloth to an object. Now Darth Vader on the left here is in like a T-pose position. He's not moving at all. Okay, so we're attaching his cape using if I just have a look on here and I'll show you exactly what we've done here. We're attaching it using the fixed points. As you can see here, we set fixed points, and they go purple, magenta, whatever color you want to call that. That's on an object that's not going to move. Okay. And on the object that's moving through the scene with the lightsaber, they're attached by having a cloth belt. Okay, now I'm going to explain all this in detail in a second. So there is a difference between an object that's moving and an object that's stationary in how we fix the cloth to that particular object. Okay, so I'll just let that play through. So you can see the cloth blowing nicely here. Okay, we've got all the dynamics set up on the cloth, but I'll just show you how you do that. So let's just start with, let's take the capes away completely. Okay, so we've just got the characters without the capes, and this I'm going to do a video shortly about how to achieve the lightsaber look and lots of various other classic things from Star Wars. But for today, we're just going to stick with the cloth. We'll try not to get sidetracked and talk about other parts. So we're just going to look at the cape. So if you go up here, you can open models separately and then drag them in and copy and paste them in. But a good way within Cinema, if you want an item to appear in the scene, is to go up here to File and say Merge Objects. Okay, and if you know where your model is saved, then we can just jump straight to that. Now I'm saying that, and I'm hoping I do know where I've saved it. There's the cape. Now I don't. Okay. Oh, there we go. I've saved it in a different folder. So what we've done is I've just imported the cape file, which is just some polygons. I'll show you that in a second. And it's not coming in quite the right place, but it's fairly close. Anyway, let's just take this away. And then let's go into these Gerald shading lines. Now you can see that incidentally, this cape is part of this character. So the Sketchfab link that you're going to have will have this in it. Okay. So what you do is you take the cape away from the character. Okay. So we've got it as a separate item. And then we can attach it back onto the character with the right method, which I'll show you now. So here is the cape, and there is Darth Vader. So what we need to do to make this work is, if we just put that on like this, it may be okay in this instance, but sometimes what you find is the geometry of that cape is going to intersect with the character, and that will mess up the cloth technique. It has to be completely clear of the object that it's going to be intersecting with, because we basically want the body to repel the cape. We don't want the cape going through the body, so we have to put a cloth collision on the body, and then we put a cloth tag on the actual cape itself. But if those two are intersecting in any way, so the polygons are going through into the other one, it messes it up. So when you apply the cloth tag and this simulation, you'll get all these horrible polygons all start to ping off at horrible angles from the geometry. So we do have to make sure that there is some distance between this in this case the cape before we start to anchor it in position. Now there is one way that I do that, which is to angle the cape up slightly. So if you take the rotate tool and then you just angle the cape so it's away from the character, and then we position the top into position, and we just have to be quite careful here, and it's worth it to do this bit right, because if you do get this bit wrong and it's intersecting in the wrong places, it will look pretty bad when it's trying to work. So as you see that we've got some clear space between. Let's turn off Darth Vader 2 for now, because he's getting a little bit in the way. Let's just deal with this one, and also his lightsaber. Let's take that. There we go. Let's turn those off. So now look, we can see. Now I may have to just do a little bit more up around the neckline, just to make sure that it's not going to intersect, because it's already intersecting a bit there. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm not going to worry about the head, because it's only the body. Right, if I just show you this model in a bit more detail, look. So these are all the pieces that you'll get. So you can rename these. Let's actually put that in, shall we? So we put in helmet there, so that's the helmet. We can move that there, or let's put that at the top, because that's the top of the figure, and then we can just turn that off. So you can turn it off if you want and back on. The body off and on, and then this next bit, it's all the buttons on the front of the panel are all separated as well. I mean, we could actually group all those together. These are the gloves, so we could just name that gloves, because some of the bigger items like this, it's quite easy. It's quite nice, sorry, to know what they are. So the main parts is the helmet, the body, the gloves, and then all these other pieces here, these other defaults that you see here, are all of the switches and dials and different things that are on his outfit there. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying before I digressed, you can turn off the helmet. We're not going to put a collider tag on the helmet. It's only going to be on the body. Okay, so that's not going to interfere with it. But the reason for removing the head for now is it makes it a lot easier for you to have a look at what's happening here. Okay, so you haven't got that in the way. So we can literally get this to sit quite nicely. Let's just have a look. It's a little bit touching there, but we can probably get away with some of this. It just doesn't want to be touching the main part of the body like that. That's fine. Okay, right, let's pop his head back on. Right, so what we're going to do is we need to find some anchor points here that we need to highlight. That's around the top of the cape. Now I will actually turn his helmet off for now, because we need to have a look at what's happening. So what we do with the cape selected, we go up here to the points selection. Right, so I've already highlighted them previously, right? But we can just deselect those, because I just want to show you how you do that. So we don't want to select all of these points around here, because we want that to float and move around in the wind. The only bit that's anchored down is the bit around the collar. Okay, so when you've got the point selection tool enabled, we can literally just move this, and then we can highlight all the ones that we want to have stationary. These are the ones that are not going to be affected by the cloth. These will be anchored down as points. Now if you select them, then you press shift on the keyboard, you'll be able to pick up other points as you go along. So we just want to move around, grabbing all these points. Okay, it takes a little bit of time to do. So I might speed the video up. You basically just have to select all the points that you want to stay stationary. That's what we're doing at this point. So we just come around, let's just see. Yeah, we need these, we need that one. I might go down to that level as well and take those ones in. Okay, don't worry if you miss any. We can just add them all in. And even if you select ones that you shouldn't be selecting, we can just deselect those as well. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So let's just make sure we're getting all the ones on this right line. Like I say, this is a little bit of a pain, but it's worth it. It's worth the effort here to make sure that we're going to pin this cape down in the right place. So keep going round, making sure we don't miss any obvious ones. Okay, there's a few more to go around this side. But if you just have your finger on shift all the time you're doing this, you'll just pick up. Now I'll just say, if you do go wrong and you go, oh, I've selected those, if you press Control and then go back over them, it'll just deselect. So back onto shift, and let's let's actually move that around a bit because I'm finding it difficult to see. Right, so we want that one, that one. If we think about it in lines coming down here, it's probably easier. And then we go over, I think we've got the last few now. Up there, around the front. And, alright, yeah, that one I think as well. Shall we have that one? Okay. I think, is that it? Is that all of them? I think so. Okay. Now, a good tip at this point is once you've selected them all, you don't really want to have to do that again. So it's a really good practice to go up to select, go up to the select menu up here, and then go down to store selection. Right. So if you click on that, over here, look, you'll get this point selection tag, which means it's remembered these points. Okay, so if you happen to click off and deselect them all and go, oh no, I've got to start again. Right, with that tag there, you literally just select it, and then it'll all come back because you've stored it as a selection. I'm just going to have a little sip of coffee because I realise I'm going to be doing quite a lot of talking in this video. Okay. So we've got that, we've got the selection. That's where we're going to pin down the cape. Ah, look at that. There's a couple there that I've got selected by mistake. So, right, this is not a bad thing that things go wrong, because when things go wrong, you just need to know how to sort them out, don't you? So if you've got a couple of spurious ones like that you've selected by mistake, what we do is we just hit Control, and then we go over them, get rid of them, and then we go over to here where it says Update, because we need to re-update this selection now with the ones with those two missing that I've just deleted. So if we press Update, you'll notice that the count went from 115 to 113, so we know it's taken out those 2 points. Okay. You do have to be really careful like that, because if we'd have run that simulation with the cloth with those 2 points attached, it would have done all sorts of weird things. It would have been attached at the collar, but then there would have been a couple of points on the back that were also attached, so the cloth would be trying to blow round those, keeping those in position. So yeah, just make sure it's really clean. You've a lot of attention to detail at this point to make sure that they're all selected correctly. And then when we do that, we now can start adding the cloth and the I think we're just doing the cloth, and the cloth belt is for the moving one. So we're just going to do cloth, and we click on cloth, we go to the tag, and then we do very similar to what we did on the flag tutorial, is we will put 20 iterations in. We'll keep stiffness at 100 for now. We will flexion down to 0, no rubber, no bounce on the cape, because it is, I think it's effectively it's like an armor, some kind of chainmail sort of outfit, isn't it? It's kind of a protection thing, so it's certainly not going to be a lot of bounce in it. So we take those out. Let's leave friction on, and let's put the mass in at about 5. Forces is the wind, how the wind is going to affect, and the gravity, the drag, everything to do with that is how that's going to affect this material. So I think we want a bit of wind just blowing against it, so you can see it's cloth, wind strength. Let's put that in at 20. So yeah, I'll do 10 on the X, 20 on the wind strength, then leave the rest as is. Right, so then dresser. This is where we need to fix these points to this stationary object. So we do that here, that where it says fix points, we just click on the first one that says set, and if we've got this right, those yellow dot points should go purple. Okay, there we go. That's now fixed it in that position. So let's pop his head back on and have a look at what this will do if we run the simulation. So now, as you can see, the cape, cloak, whatever you want to call it, cape, is angled back. So as the cloth takes effect, it will drop around the character. Now, one thing I've left on here, which I will take off and then I'll show you what I've done, is the body, which I've labeled body here, needs to have, if we right click, go to simulation tags and we go to cloth collider, we need to put a collider on the body, because when the cloth drops down, if we don't put a collider on the body, the cloth will just swing straight through the Darth Vader's body. You know, it won't hit against it and wrap around it. It will just pass through it like he's a ghost. So we have to put the collider tag on there. And I also, while I was doing it, I just put one on the gloves as well, just in case it does actually affect the gloves. So we put a collider on that. Okay, so let's just do that. Let's go back to normal garage shading. Let's click back to our model mode, away from the point mode. Click off the page. Now if we go back to the beginning on the timeline, I've got some cameras that are spinning around here as well. Let's delete my cameras. And then let's just zoom in on the character like that, so we haven't got to worry about movement from the cameras. Okay, so let's have a look and see what happens with the settings as they are now. So we just press play. And as you can see, the cloth, let's just move around the character. Let's just try and get a rotation around him a little bit while that cloth is moving. As you can see, if I just zoom in, it's just hanging there. Okay. I think what I want to do, while it's running, and I think it'll play again now. When it gets to 300 frames, it will keep playing. So while the simulation's running, you can go back to your cloth tag and you can go to your forces and you can change the wind and the strength of the wind while it's still running. Okay, so I'm looking up here and I'm thinking it'd be quite nice to have the wind blowing behind him so it kind of wraps around the body. So that's in the Z axis, I believe. Oh, hang on, let's just check. No, the body is pointing, right, is that in the Y? Okay, let's take that off and let's just try the Y direction. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it should be the Z, shouldn't it? Let's put it on Z. Let's put 10 in there. Ah, yes, so 10 is blowing it away from him, and if we put in a -10, it will blow it around the body. Okay, so let's bring the wind strength up to 40. There we go. So now you can see that the cloth is blowing and it's not going through the character. Now, just to demonstrate what happens if you don't have a collider tag on the body, if I delete it, way, yeah, this is what it does. It doesn't have anything to collide against. Okay, so it's very important that the body has a collider tag. So if we run that back, it just wraps onto the body exactly how you'd expect it to in real life. So few things to remember on here is to have a cloth collider on an object that you don't want the cloth to go through, so it will hit against it. And also the cloth tag itself, we have to mess with some of these settings to make it feel more like cloth. You know, if you leave the flexion and the rubber and the bounce and everything up high, it will be like a forever stretching piece of material, which just does not look like any cloth that I know. And it seems to be some of the default settings in here are quite strange. So you do have to update those. Forces really is how the wind is going to blow around this. So literally, if you move that back to 20, it will blow backwards. If you take that out, it will drop down with no wind. And if you put it in, say 40 on the Z, on the X, sorry, it will come and it will blow to the side. And if you do minus 40, it should blow the other side. Okay, so you've got really good control on wind direction here, in the wind impact, the drag, the lift, loads of things to mess around with. And what I suggest you do is just try these out. You know, just type in all sorts of numbers and see what it does. And then the dresser, fixed points here is the other thing that we did as well. You know, to make sure that those points are fixed there. If you don't do that, let's just clear those and I'll show you what happens. The cloth disappears. So yeah, so they're not great to clear them. So if we set them back on again, there you go, they're stuck on his neck again. That's great. Okay, so that's how we do the fixed character. And now I'm going to show you, if we turn off Darth Vader 1 and let's could probably just use, yeah, let's use this cape. Let's turn off the tag, the cloth tag. Let's take that away. We'll start with a new one. Let's introduce Darth Vader 2. Here he is. Now this guy has actually got some animation on him, which I will show you how you animate these characters in a video, which I'll probably do in a couple of weeks, and I'll show you where you get the characters, how they animate, how you put a sequence of animations together that you can use in a small scene or mini movie or whatever it is you're creating. And we've got a website you go to do this. You don't even have to learn how to animate, how to do any of that. So it's very good, and that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So I digress. Let's have a look how we do this. Sorry, can I have another sip of coffee? Oh, it's all this talking. Right. So what we're going to do then on this character, we are going to do similar to what we did on the other one, but we are going to attach it in a slightly different way. So let's bring the cape over to the character. Now what I find helpful is to use this 4-view mode here, where we can really see in 3D space what's going on. Okay, so from this view I like to get the cape kind of orientation about right, which is just, you can't really see all the detail from this angle, but that's kind of about right. And if you look at this one, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, so it's not too bad from those views. So let's just have a look at what it looks like in the 3D view. Okay. Let's put on some quick... I just want to make this a little bit easier to see, because it's a very dark scene with Darth Vader. Right, that might be okay. Let's have a look at this. We'll try and get this camera to behave. It's spinning round. Okay, also let's turn off some of these extreme lights and things that we're getting on here, the environments and floors. Let's make it easier to see. There we go. So again, exactly like we did on the previous one, we need to attach the cloak, sorry, or the cape onto the character, onto Darth Vader here, but without intersecting the geometry. Okay, so we need to keep it as clear. Again, what I will do here is I will if it lets me on this one, I'm sure it will, is remove the head. There we go. So now we can see where the neck is around there. Okay, so we're just going around like that, and we're just going to move these bits until until the geometry is clear of most things. It just wants to sit touching it, but only just. Okay. Now what's that like from? I think we can put a little bit more rotation, possibly around there, and even, yeah, that sits it nicely, doesn't it? And then if we go across like that, yeah, that's not looking too bad at all. Okay, so a little bit fiddly this bit, you know, you just have to take a little bit of time on this bit, but if you don't get this bit right, then the cloth will never look right. It'll intersect, it will not know what it's doing, it will be colliding in the wrong places, all the geometry will all start going mad. Believe me, I've seen it, it's awful. You think, oh my god, it's supposed to be a lovely bit of cloth, and it's just all goes mad. So you spend a little bit of time at this stage making sure that it's clear. I think that's good. So let's have a look at, now we've already saved the points, which is really handy. So if we go back to the points here, look, they're already selected, which is absolutely wonderful. So we don't have to worry about doing that because we're using the same cape. Now, this is where it goes a bit different to the first one. We have to fix these points, but we want to fix them using something called a cloth belt. Okay, so if we go to our cape, we're going to put on first a cloth tag. Okay, just like we did on the previous one. Then we go to tag and we do the same thing. We put 20 there, we put 0, 0, 0, and 5 there. Forces, let's put 10 in there and 20 again on the wind strength. Leave the rest as is. Now we're not going to use this fixed points bit here. We're not going to use that. If we use that, it will fix the points, but the character will move and the cape will stay where it is. Okay, so we can't fix it in the Y, Z and X axis in that coordinate. Yes, it will stay there. We have to fix it to the body that is moving around, and the way we do that is we put on a cloth belt. Now I explained this in my previous video. A belt is literally what you're seeing here. It's like if you have a cape or a skirt, a kilt, anything that's moving material and it's attached somehow by using a belt, and that's what this is. It's putting a belt around it and keeping it in place. Okay, so with the belt selected, we then have to say where do we belt it to, right? So we just need to put that on to the body. Okay, we're not going to the head, we're just going to attach it to the body, because the neck part here, look, is part of the body, not of the head. So let's choose the body, which I believe we may need to click on the body at this point, just so we know. Oh, it's that one there. So it's the first one. So let's actually call that body, so we're not guessing all the time. So we've got body there. We go back to our cloth belt, and then where it says belt on, just here, we need to drag the body into there, and then we have to hit set. If you don't hit set, then it doesn't do anything. Now when we hit set, we should get the yellow points. Right, we can't see them because I'm not in that mode. Let's go back to cape. Okay, that's interesting. Let's have a look why that's not done that. I always think, oh, I need to start the video again. Oh well, sorry, I used to think, no, it's gone wrong. Can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to start the video again and learn this bit. And I think it's good to get things wrong. You know, I've used this program a lot, and there's things that you do and you think, why did that happen? But if you can work them out, rather than just pretend things don't go wrong in life, you know, they do. And that's what's happening here. So let's work out why that's not allowing me to just trying to work this out now. So we've got the cape, we've got the body tag on there, we've got the belt, and the belt has to belt to the body. Now select. Right, so that we've selected the points are in place. If we then go to the belt, and we've got the body tag dropped into the belt, and then we press set. Aha! So it looks like you need to have the points, the point selection tag that we did. We need to select them first to make sure that they were active. I mean, I do this stuff all the time, and every now and again I just yeah, I just think, what, how does that happen? How? Anyway, it's late, it's 10 o'clock at night, you know, I need some more of this. Anyway, I hope that didn't confuse too much. So let's clear it and do that again just to make sure. Right, so nothing's selected. Let's go to the point selection tool, press select, and click on the cape. Make sure the cape is selected when you do this as well. If you do what I've just done, it doesn't matter how many times you click select on there. If you don't select the cape, you won't see it. So where they are now selected, if you then go to the belt, the body is in there, look, with belt on, and you just press set, and hey presto, they go yellow. Right, let me just show you what's happening now. Now we've got it to work. You see all these yellow lines, looks like thread, and it's effectively what it is. It's like you've stitched this cape with needle and thread into the neck of Darth Vader there, you know, so it's stitching through the collar into the neck, holding it in that position. Okay, and it does look like that, doesn't it? So it's not a bad thing that it's shown like that. It really does look like it's stitched itself into there. So that should hold in position quite nicely now. So let's now bring the head back in. Can't have him headless. So now he's got a cape sewn into his neck. We can now, let's come out in, let's go back into model mode, and then let's turn, should we turn on some of these things? Let's turn all these things back on now. Let's get the scene all back together, and let's just bring his lightsaber back. I'm not doing the lightsaber in this tutorial. I will be doing that in the next one in a week or so's time. I'll be showing you all of that. Let's just pop him back in just so you can see it working. So here we are. Let's rewind back to 0, and let's press play with fingers crossed, and let's hope we've got something here. Right. Okay, so there he is, spinning and moving around. All right, let's stop him there and spin round. Let's have a look and see what the cloth is doing. I think I need to adjust the axis of the camera a bit, don't I? Because let's go like this, and from above, but then just go straight down. And then you should, then the axis of the camera will be nice. Now there is the odd little bit. Now what I haven't spoke about, which I didn't do on the previous cape, is we can make this a lot smoother. At the moment it's quite chunky geometry. Okay, we can actually improve that by putting I never remember the name of it. is a cloth surface. It's also hidden up here under generator. I don't know if it should be in a different place, but anyway, what we need to do is put a cloth surface onto this cape. Now to do that, we hold down Alt while cape is highlighted here, and then we go onto cloth surface and then let go. It becomes a parent and the cape is a child of. So the cape now is divided up. You can see how that did that on this subdivisions here. Look, it's divided it like ×2. It's had another set of of geometry added. If we go again, it just keeps dividing up and getting more and more tight. And then we don't want too much because it's going to slow the processor down. But I think that's about right for it to be a bit smoother. And the other thing we do is we just put a 0.1 on the thickness. Actually, that's, no, I think it's 0.01 because of the scale of the object we're working with. Let's just have a look. It might be 0. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, if you have a look, you can just see the edges. That's about right. That's about right. You don't want too much thickness. It's thin cloth, really, isn't it? Even if it's heavy cloth, it's still not overly thick. So 0.01, 0.02, about that range on there will be absolutely fine. We've got number 2 in the subdivisions, which is just increasing this material. If we don't have any, you'll see it's just too blocky. There's no way that's going to look like real cloth. So we put a couple in like that, and then when we play it, it should drape and blow and move around much more convincingly. Now it's got the thickness to it that makes it cloth, and it also has a lot more subdivisions, so it kind of bends and folds, and it doesn't kind of like, I don't know if it's made of like plasticky stuff, you know, it's actually got some smooth quality to it now. Right, so let's go back to the Garud shading, take off all these horrible lines so we can see it in detail. Let's just go back and just play that again, just so you can see that motion of that cloth moving around and blowing in the wind, and also being affected by the character moving towards you. So if we just freeze frame it at a certain point, you can see the cloth is blowing and it's moving constantly. Okay, so if we go there, we might get, let's just go there and just take a little screen grab of that, little screen render, and I'll show you. Look at that. It's quite easy to do when you look at these little techniques. You see, is to get the cloth moving like cloth. I'll show you how the characters move next in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to show you that and the lightsaber. So if you combine a realistic lightsaber, characters moving in a realistic way, and the cloth and the sound effects, you can start to put a little film together in no time. So yeah, I hope you stay tuned. I hope this has been useful. The two different methods, where the fixed and the moving cape. If it has, leave me a comment below. If you want to see more detail, if you want to see me do another scene from a film. At the moment I'm doing Star Wars, but there's all sorts of things that we can look at these techniques for. Put it in the comments below. Hit the notification bell as well, and then you'll be notified when I put up another tutorial. Okay, thanks for watching. I need another drink. I'll see you in the next video. My name's Mike, Visual Animation. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.